Army of Two is a game where you shoot guys in their assholes as they run away. It's a game about cooperation with your buddy, about standing back to back, firing at the enemy out in the open, taking a ridiculous amount of damage in the process, about faking your own death to trick those blasted terrorists, and last but not least, it's about America. The story is simple. 9/11. Capitalism is the solution to everything, so why not privatize the military? Slalom Slope Fuckboy and knockoff Jason Statham are the ultimate duo, taking on contracts to destroy WMDs and murdering hundreds of would-be terrorists in the process, proving once and for all that the US military just doesn't have what it takes to get the job done. What's not to love? In all seriousness, Army of Two is an incredibly goofy game, but it's one that I respect quite a lot for two reasons. One, for thinking up a gimmick and sticking to it above all else, even when it gets ridiculous, and two, for the fact that it's a genuinely decent co-op focused game. Resident Evil 5 is my benchmark for action-adventure games in co-op, and it's worth noting that Army of Two, while not quite as good, came out before RE5 did. It's hard to fully hate on this beautiful mess when it attempted to fill a niche that didn't get a lot of attention. Is it a Gears of War or Halo? Or EDF 2017? Maybe not, but it's fun, stupid, and hilarious, and the fact that it's locked to the PS3 and Xbox consoles is kind of a shame. I think everyone should be able to lift their buddy up into a hail of bullets, or embody a horror movie monster, stalking the enemies one by one while their teammate draws all their attention. That's the main gimmick of Army of Two, the aggro system. In theory, yeah, it makes sense, but in practice, oh god, is it silly. There'll be a meter in the middle of the split screen, and whenever one of the players shoots at the enemy forces, the aggro will fill towards their side of the screen. That means the attention is on them, their character will even glow red, while the other player's model will turn slightly translucent.
You can sneak around enemies, do whatever you want, but if you have the aggro, it's like you're glowing red.
It's nice that the game is so in-your-face about this. It's not hiding it, it's wearing this campy mechanic proudly, turning one of the characters Super Saiyan God, while the other becomes invisible so they can comfortably walk up behind enemies and murder them with the weakest clothesline imaginable is just plain dumb, but in a good way. At times you'll have a tandem parachute ride, one player guiding, the other shooting a sniper rifle, and as you make your landing, you'll just get pelted with gunfire. Instead of sprinting towards cover, you'll be forced into a back-to-back section where you stand out in the open, firing at incoming enemies, becoming one with their bullets in the process. You can't back out of this, and you can't choose when to do it. It's a scripted situation, when it happens, and you just kinda have to sit there and go along with it. There's an entire mechanic centered around playing possum, falling over like a ragdoll to trick the enemy forces into thinking you're already dead. Given that the A button is used both to rescue teammates and to play dead when you're low on health, you could easily do one when you wanted to do the other, end up dying as a result, and be forced to start over from the most recent checkpoint. Awesome, bro. Even when you manage to press the right contextual A button prompt, there's a delay on everything, so you'll press A, then they'll grab the teammate, a delay, and then you can drag them to safety. Meanwhile, you'll fall victim to an unprecedented amount of gunshot wounds. No worries though, you guys are totally fine. It's the Call of Duty sit and wait healing system. Pressing A when you're alone with your hubby will lead to a certain type of bonding moment, such as this bromantic handshake, or whatever the fuck this is.
Solo now, Fido-doo! Ladies, lift your shirts!
For some unholy reason, the shop vendors on the upgrade screen all have a name and nationality when it literally doesn't factor into anything. These upgrade menus just show up after checkpoint and you acquire the new stuff right then and there. No attempt at explaining how these guns teleported into your hands. Like, one time it happened while an enemy was already shooting us. Here's the really crazy part. Nothing is preloaded. Clicking on one of these options will incur a load screen. Yes, to simply look at text on screen, a load screen is necessary. Backing out and navigating to other types of weaponry is a needless hassle because of it. One of the upgrades is simply a miniature shield placed onto your rifle, which may or may not actually deflect bullets, but that pales in comparison to this next one. To top it all off, and to really bring this home, there's an upgrade that increases the gun's aggro stat called Pimped, and all it does is turn the gun gold. This game is ludicrous. I really can't tell if this was supposed to evoke edgy and badass vibes, or if this was meant to be a so dumb it's funny, tongue-in-cheek, ironic work of art. When you hear lines like this, you might think one thing.
Bro, that was so badass, you wish you had skills like that. Bro, we're supposed to help you take out Colonel Mo Ali. First of all, I ain't your bro.
No problem, fucko.
Fucko? Who says that? Maybe there's a way in from below decks. Yeah, I'm no expert in aircraft carrier design, but I think you're probably right.
But then you see the chaos of the boat section and you might conclude the opposite. This cycle repeats. You knee a dude in the asshole and see him ragdoll front flip, you're sure it's meant to be stupid. But then you see My Chemical Romance off-brand Joker number 3 and you're back to second-guessing yourself. Are the guns mixed in with the skyscrapers during load screens meant to be symbolic, an attempt at saying something? Or just a surface-level, lay epic, badass visual to go along with everything else? It's impossible to say for sure, like most things in this game. However, the more I think about it, I'm not sure if the distinction matters all that much. I wouldn't place it in the Hall of Fame alongside the legendary film The Room or anything, I didn't have that much fun with it. But it truthfully is a great time. Whether intentional or not, Army of Two exudes the qualities that many so bad it's good pieces of media have. It presents such a nonsensical set of rules to exploit, such as the invisible choke-slamming man and the fake faceplant of death, all while forcing you to sit through one of the most boring stories in video game history, starring I'm Too Old for This Shit personified and a Dude Bro 69. Who cares about fucko Clyde?
Learn to shoot, fuckos!
No one. Who cares about the fake betrayal, then the real betrayal, then the real betrayal, but no, actually it's a fake-out betrayal again? Nobody. Nobody cares. I doubt anyone even remembers this operation's earpiece lady in the first place, so carrying her limp body and protecting her from hundreds of enemies sure wasn't something me or my friend gave a fuck about. Who cares about the central plot point of a senator trying to privatize the military? Like, we're the test subjects, what you point to for why this makes any sort of sense, and there's not even any in-world reason as to why our characters can sustain so much damage. We're a two-man army inexplicably.
You boys are unstoppable down there, like an army of two.
It's stupid, but not outlandish enough, like a Resident Evil to go full biscuit with it, explaining it away with some drugs or a virus or something, so the privatization angle falls flat since it's built on the random damage sponginess of our protagonists, and that's a very weak foundation. It's all so dumb, but maybe that's the charm. Or at least that's the excuse I'm giving the game for its time waster of a story. The gameplay of shooting guys in the dick and assholes is solid, and the feedback on the shots is surprisingly great. Their bodies react and flop around when defeated. However, you can't sprint at all, and the cover system isn't very good. It's nowhere near the levels of a Gears of War or something. Being able to blind fire over sandbags, though, is awesome. That never gets old. The amount of guns in the game feels a bit unnecessary, and many don't make much sense, such as the minigun not allowing for the maximum aggro stat somehow, and it just being kind of mid overall. Or how awful the rocket launchers feel, considering you can't hold much ammo, nor find many replenishments for your secondary gun in the first place. That said, hey, look at all those weapons. Pretty neat, right? All those guns? All of them having a pimped upgrade? Good lord. Speaking of unnecessary, the entire co-op sniping mechanic is a bit of a waste, given that if you have a real human player, you both could simply talk to each other and count down your sniper shots manually. Maybe this separate screen and in-game countdown is for when you're playing with an AI teammate, or when online with a micless player, but still, the dedicated synchronized sniping mechanic is hilarious simply due to its superfluousness when playing split screen, and the fact that the times where you'd want to pull one of these off are incredibly rare, as you're almost never shooting enemies who aren't already aware of you. In fact, the sheer number of enemies in this game is comical. At one point in the airport level, I swear, we take down guy after guy after guy, and they'd keep swinging through those fucking windows time after time after time. The entire China level, like, fuck off, there's so many goddamn bad guys, give us a chance to breathe. That said, you have to give the game credit with its enemy AI. Sure, sometimes they stand around. Okay, maybe they stand around a lot, like all the fucking time, even after being shot. Or they move out of cover when they already have good position, sometimes even into one of their teammates' grenades. Oh god, this game makes it hard to defend sometimes. But that said, because the enemies run around and try to get into different positions, it does feel like they're attempting to move in on your position, granting you opportunities to fire at them instead of an endless game of whack-a-mole where you sit behind cover until they pop their head up. Sure, when they do walk up, you could just insta-kill melee them, but listen, I'm trying to praise the game here. Something worth mentioning about the melee is that it's the same button as shoot. You can fire at the hip with the right trigger, but that's also the button for one-hit melee, meaning you might waste your ammo chasing a dude trying to put a knee up their butt, and you fire off rounds left and right in the process. Ugh. Maybe the frequent enemy movement had something to do with them blending in with their environment so much. They added red and blue dingleberries over their heads, but I don't think that's enough. The visuals aren't the prettiest to look at, and especially when split screening, it's tough to know where enemies are until they start shooting you. Very annoying. Plus, the blue dingling is extra stupid, since your partner has a blue icon over their head, so even then it isn't good enough. I do like the game, I promise, but there's so much about it that's either silly or annoying. The boss fights aren't silly or annoying, but they're pretty mid for the most part. They're simply invulnerable from the front, and any gunshots to their backside will do the job. This can create some funny moments, such as getting the right cheesy angle across the map and going to town, but there's nothing here that'll make you think that much or do anything interesting. Where this game shines the brightest is with its co-op elements, grabbing a car door and using it as a shield while your buddy fires at enemies, lifting up your partner to get a surprise angle on clueless soldiers. The aggro system itself, hell, the fact that this system, the core mechanic of the game, one that isn't seen anywhere else, is built around the co-op experience is extremely commendable, and what's more, because it comes in contact with almost every other part of the game, it doesn't feel like a waste of potential. Faking your death, for instance, throws all the aggro onto the other player, so using it at the wrong time might lead to disaster. The overkill mechanic takes the aggro system and turns it up a few notches. If you thought you were invisible before, oh baby, once your partner gets enough aggro and you press the A button, yes, the A button gets this many functions, which obviously doesn't lead to you doing the wrong action at times, right? Anyway, press the A button, one man gets even more attention and damage, and the other turns even more invisible and fast, I guess. There's two massive problems though, even ignoring the A button prompt to start it up. Either player can activate it when the A button appears, and the aggro-heavy teammate has to stand. They can't crouch behind protection when this is happening. This could pop you out of cover and into your death. On the other end, the invisible chokeslamming and headbutting man has his own issues, as when the countdown ends, it abruptly cancels the animation you were in, and the enemy is left alive right in front of you, ready to murder. After a while, my buddy would deliberately stop attacking enemies when the countdown got low enough, since it was just too risky. Very dumb, but all those problems said, this game is fun, has novel mechanics, and isn't terribly long, meaning those unique systems don't overstay their welcome and turn into a hassle. I'm kind of shocked this game doesn't get talked about much, to be honest. Is it just because of the generic and kind of cringe action military wrapper? I mean, I'm no expert in aircraft carrier design, but that very well could be it.
I'm no expert in aircraft carrier design.
Overall, Army of Two is absolutely worth a playthrough if you have a buddy who's willing to go the distance. You'll have a lot of laughs, whether they be from the game's corny machismo ways, or the moments where you'll undoubtedly fake your death at the wrong time or kill your friend on purpose. I give Army of Two 3 barrels of fun out of 4. It has a strong central gimmick that sets it apart from other shooters, and it being designed around the co-op experience is a huge plus. You gotta love jolly cooperation. Xbox users, I'm pretty sure this is available via backwards compatibility, so have at it. Sadly, if you're on PC or a newer PlayStation, welp, this game didn't get a port somehow, so maybe just play Helldivers or Earth Defense Force 5 and 6 instead. Those aren't even close to Army of Two, I understand, but those aren't available on Xbox at all, so hey, take what you can get, right? Thanks for watching, folks. This is a shorter video. I wasn't sure if I wanted to include this in a larger grab bag or just do something small. There was no way I was getting a half hour or more out of this game, no shot. Let me know what you think, and if it's worth it to do the other Army of Two games in this smaller format. Hopefully this video won't destroy my average watch time. Also, I recorded this upstairs this time. I usually record downstairs. I think it sounds a bit worse, but if it doesn't, please let me know. That'd be great to know. Sign up to the Patreon if you want early access to videos and to earn my eternal gratitude. I'm still chugging away at a larger video, but likely before then, 2 smaller ones, one April Fool's and one other. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.
I'm no expert in aircraft carrier design.